Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Albert Camp. And Albert, in our local segment, we like to highlight a lot of these kids that are having, breakout seasons. Some of them we've had names before. Others are brand new. But I know this. We're about 2-3 weeks from playoffs. I was reading in one of the local papers online about the certain date for the playoffs. One district in particular is going to use home floors till they get to the semis, and I struggle with that.
Yeah, so many changes in the last couple of years
Yep.
that we do struggle with. But one thing we do always want to do, as George said, give out the lofty tributes to the kids that come through with records at their school. Bella Zerzo at Bristol needed a three-pointer in the game to break the record. She wasted no time hitting it immediately, taking her to 1,333 points, tying Alyssa Giese for the all-time record. Congratulations. In that game, she kept playing and happened to get 29 points and 11 rebounds. More importantly, George, Bristol goes to 12-1 in the year. I always look at that first. That's my old coaching in us. I know you do too. That if you're 2-12 and you're scoring 30 a game, I'm not so excited.
She's going on a winner.
Yeah, you want to be on a winning team, and if you ask her that, I'm kind of positive that she would say, yeah, I love what I'm doing for the team. I've worked hard to do this so we could be good.
And she didn't sneak over 1,000 either. 1,333.
No.
She's probably going to end with 1,600.
Yes.
That's a nice stuff. But any more of that three ball has changed the game.
Totally.
And she had a ton of rebounds, so that's the other thing. She's not just doing one thing.
Yes.
She's scoring. I had a game the other night, and this kid doing his stats, so-and-so, 2 threes, 1, 2. One guy, 8 threes. And I'm thinking to myself, that's terrific. But you have to take the ball to the basket on occasion.
You have to play both ways. If you
want to
play
have to make them foul you. And then the other night, the one right across the board over here, team had no threes. Well, you can't win that way either.
No, you can't.
But there's a mix. But I just hate, because I think people get passive and they just start aiming and they forget about the other part. Like the coaches are all over the referees. I'm right there. I hear him. We're and I know the ref's looking at. He's saying, he doesn't want to say it. He said, "Oh, you do shoot.
You're not getting fouls.
Perimeter shots."
Yeah.
He said, "What do you want me to call?"
I can handle it a little bit, George, if the team can shoot well. But I see so many teams that shoot threes lousy and still keep firing them because that's the way everybody plays.
I feel like
everybody plays.
I feel like I'm showing my age.
So we're going to play.
But I get it, But old buddy of ours from Teal, Coach Loomis, he's been there a long time. We're sitting at a high school game one night and just watching, BSing back and forth. And he says, "You know what, Coach?" He goes, "I know I can drive and kick." He said, "But the trouble is no one can pass and no one can shoot." And I'm like, that sounds innocuous. But the truth is, maybe we shouldn't. Don't get me wrong, you have to shoot some.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure 8 for whatever and no 2s is the answer either.
No, it's a combination. We said that. But more importantly is it's the skill work ahead of time. That if you're going to run the dribble drive, and I know you coaches watching, fans watching, that's all everybody runs. So that means guys are going off the dribble and kicking it. You have to be able to dribble both hands. You have to be able to pass with the close hand, and you have to be able to shoot it. And if you can't do all those, George, it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to work.
Balance is the key, both in how you attack the game and then playing the game with balance. Like if I see one more grower guy jump in the air and throw some hand grenade at someone's feet, I'm going to scream.
Yeah, the pass means everything to a team.
Now,
you could tell a lot by your teammates how they pass the ball to you when you're preparing to shoot. Your target hand's right there, and that ball should be delivered right there. If you're reaching down here and reaching up here.
Or throwing one of those bloopers so when you get it, you're covered. I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, you can't get the shot off anyway.
They don't want you. Well, they don't want to pass the ball. That's what I see.
In the initial, that's what we have to think, right?
Yeah.
That's what we have to think. And now going to local football, Boardman hired DJ Doda as their new football coach. DJ's been around a long time. I know he coached at West Branch. I know he coached at Warren Harding. He had more success at Warren Harding. That doesn't surprise me. But last stint was at Girard. really known for their offense. Gerard can score points, and he's going to bring that to Boardman, and they'll be excited to have DJ as their new head coach. Good luck, coach, as Boardman continues their hope that they get a long playoff run sometime soon. Springfield in basketball took out McDonald.
Ouch.
Big score, and what it did for him kept them perfect. Now, we followed them in football, George. They were tremendous in football, and it's continuing in basketball. So maybe these classes
Good
coming
class.
through right now.
We talk about it all the time, especially in the smaller schools.
Yes, good
You know,
point.
you do a Boardman, you do something, you do over at a big school, Cleveland,
Yes.
Cincinnati, that's different, even in Pennsylvania
Right.
over here. But when you're talking these small schools, these guys are playing everything.
Yeah, and the lower grades, you see them coming. As a coach, one of the standing jokes I have is you don't know what's coming. Don't worry. You look at junior high, and they're 13-0.
You know
There's a chance that they'd be pretty good. Well, these Springfield Tigers have been good in football forever, and now this basketball team's undefeated, led by Alex Rothwell, led by Bo Brungard, going to YSU. The community buys into these kind of schools, George. And that's why we do this show. We love the Armstrong community here, that these kids get a chance to show off to their families, to their fans, in all these sports. And it's really a dream come true for these kids to represent their community.
Yeah, and to talk about that a little bit, you know, these kids, as you say, playing everything. And I just have to think, those Youngstown State coaches go to that game, and they see Brungard playing, and they know they have an athlete.
Yes.
So we don't just have a football player.
Urban Meyer who's got bad vibes now, but Urban Meyer's been a great coach forever. One of the things he loved in his recruiting was a kid who played two sports.
I've seen Joe Paterno at more than one game in Western PA back in the day when he was able to travel.
Right. And they do. They want, because it's called competing. Yeah. You know, Buddy Morris is really big at, he's the strength coach for the Arizona Cardinals, and George knows him really well. I got to know him a little bit through George. He always talks about the word competing and learning not only to compete mentally, emotionally, but use different muscle groups when you play different sports. And he made that clear. They said they get stronger.
I really think it's responsible for a lot of the injuries in the one sport kids.
The specialists.
I really believe. I mean, I don't have any data.
Right.
It's just
But
I
it
do,
sounds
but I
right,
do
doesn't
have
it?
50, 60 years of watching.
But data.
We trained a lot of girls.
But the data comes from
how many girls?
Yes.
Think about how we trained hundreds. I'll say 85% had knee braces.
Yeah. That's what we
Maybe
always saw
more.
it.
Yep.
We always saw
So
it.
you never know.
Talking about women, the Youngstown State women had their first loss, IUPUI.
They call them ooey pooey. And I'll say this, when you're up 8 with 212, that stings.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it stinks, and we're going to say it on our show again. And last night, by the way, Pirates were fouled and won the game.
People.
If coaches, I have no idea what. Watch our show and win some games. I know you know recruiting better than us. I know you know a lot of things about YSU better than us. Yeah. And I know you know a lot of things about this whole area, a lot more. But one thing we do know, if the game's under 8 seconds and you're up 3, you have a better chance of winning when you foul. George, I don't care what they say.
You know, my buddy said, I remember one time in 1985, the guy got the ball, he tipped it back, it hit 2 guys in the head, bounced off the trash can. Yeah, okay. But watch 15 of them get tied with a set shot because no one wants to foul them.
Yeah, say that again. No one wants to foul them, so nobody guards
that
close.
Shot is always easy because the last thing the coach says when they leave the huddle is,
don't foul.
Don't foul. Okay. That does not mean, why not try to take a charge? Jump in front of the ball handler. You might get that 1 in 10 lucky play.
We are never going to go off that one.
No.
We are, a lot of things change our minds.
And I've seen the other one work.
Yeah.
The tip back.
Oh, yeah.
But I've seen 15 to 1.
Not 15. Try about 50 to 1.
Yeah, I mean.
50 to 1, because here's why. Junior high kids can make threes.
In a
so
sleep.
you think a kid playing for Division I
These college girls, they've been shooting
boys
that
and
shot
girls.
since 8th grade.
Yeah, these boys and girls.
And the girls.
And they're better shooters anyway.
And all you have to do is watch when they have that big contest at the end of the year, the girls beat the boys all the
Girls are
time in the
great
three ball.
shooters. They get their feet down
And they don't elevate. See,
Yes.
once again, there are reasons for it. We don't have time, but the bottom line is they have
Less moving
the B
parts.
word, balance,
Less moving parts.
fewer
yes.
moving parts,
Yes.
and what happens? The ball goes in.
Yeah, they really
And
does.
So my buddy Ref, by the way, we have a good friend at Ref for 40 years, and he is with us because he's seen
Over and over.
those wide open threes. Don't foul them. Now we got a tight game, dude.
And
What do they have to do? Make the first one,
Yes.
which that could wipe it completely
A
out.
lot of times they don't make the first one.
They have to miss the second one on purpose. A lot of
Yes.
times they miss the whole rim.
Yes.
They have to get the rebound and put it back in.
Yes.
All the while you're closing on the shot, not caring if you're in early because you want the ball to count.
Yes. It's amazing. So we went off hard, but I think it deserves to go off hard.
And now, once again, if you don't practice it, you're not going to do it
no,
right.
practice it every day.
Leave the last 8 to 10
Yeah,
minutes
last
of
minute.
practice.
Yes.
Say, okay, we're going to work on underneath. Team you had last night, I understand they had
Special
the
situations.
lead through the ball away, threw it down the other end. So now it come down under the other basket.
Special
It
situations.
has to be touched. I don't care what play you run, whether you stack your guys,
Right.
call it ladder or whatever. You cannot throw it so it comes back underneath their end.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Special situations in all sports have to be practiced because kids get nervous at the end of games. But if they have practiced it, they know it's in that brain how we do things, and we're going to touch this ball. Coach said we got to touch this ball.
It's muscle memory.
Coach said we got to make sure we jump stop on the screen so we don't get a moving screen.
Yeah.
Over and over.
And they don't think about it anymore.
No, it's doing
like when someone calls you, they don't say, what's my number? Call me back at,
Right.
you
They
just
know
know it. And this is what happened here. And you know, I have a buddy who won't do it. And, you know, I know he's lost games, and every time someone loses on TV, I give him a little text. I go, just saw another, you know, it's too easy.
How about it's a classic story. You people that follow college basketball remember Xavier playing Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Had him beat. And Sean Miller was the coach at Xavier.
Yeah.
Ohio State hits a shot and wins the game in overtime. And I write a letter to Sean Miller.
Sean.
Because I know Sean Miller well. And my wife said, listen.
Well, first of all, he's leaving part out. He couldn't find his email, and his wife, who's like the nicest lady I've ever met. I've never heard her say one word bad. And Al goes, I can't find Sean's email. She goes, that's so jackasses like you don't write them. She goes, that's why you don't know his email. Right out. Exactly.
But I still wrote to him.
Absolutely.
I said, Sean, you're going to play a million other games.
Yeah. And he fouls now.
He fouls now.
Yeah, he does.
You're in the final 8.
Yeah, he does.
You'd be in the final 8 right now if you fouled.
You fouled.
I had to do it. Now, going to Youngstown State, they pulled one out, 90-87. I could tell by the score that it was a fast-paced game, and they hit a 3. So
But they weren't ahead. That was the only difference. They weren't ahead.
Yeah, so they hit a 3. So we know that 3 ball has a lot to do with college.
I listened to their
basketball.
game the other night. I listened to the whole game. I'm just trying to get a feel for what's going on. Close. The league's pretty even.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'd say on the road, you're flipping a coin at best, even when the good teams, like one of the better teams were on the road the other night and barely got out of it.
Yeah, Cleveland State started out 6-0. Now I know they lost one for sure, and I know they were losing in the last game.
How about the other night? I'm turning on Oakland's beating the big boy. Although, no, they're not there, but still.
Right.
It's that kind of basketball.
It is.
I turned it on and they went overtime with Loyola.
Yeah, Division I's really good. You know, Division I is great.
No,
If you're playing Division I basketball, doesn't matter where you're playing it.
Okay.
It's great. It's great.
Let's turn to the pro football. Let's start at the top. Let's look at those games. Now, we have 4 games this week, some good ones. Your Buffalo's still playing. We're going to talk. But I want to talk about getting there first, and then we'll talk about the 4 games. First of all, I have to start with Dallas because I've been a detractor of his forever, whether it was getting a massage and missing the walkthrough or just looking like I don't want. I'm heavy. I know I'm heavy. But his appearance, he's representing a $5 billion business. He is not representing Armco Credit Union at the 9 o'clock game at intramurals. And his coaching, okay, they lead the league in penalties.
They did that day. That's how they lost.
They had 14
14
penalties, Dallas, and they had to make one play at the end. Now, let me say this, to give themselves a chance. There's no guarantee.
Right.
We know that. But to mess that up that bad and then to try to blame it on the referee.
Yeah, and that's my thing. You've heard us say today, in our basketball world that we coached, you have to practice things ahead of time.
Everything.
Well, I'm hoping that they had practiced that ahead of time and realized that when you slide down, the first thing you do is get up and run it to the referee.
Hand them the ball.
You have to get the ball
The
quick.
ref, not your center.
No. The quick as you can get it to the referee, you have to get it to him, and then he'll get it down as fast as he can.
And if he sees things not whatever, he'll
Can blow the whistle.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not going to let him lay on
the ball
you.
to the center. They handed the ball to the center, and the ref knows that in any football game, they have to handle the ball before the ball snapped.
Right.
So now he's late getting there.
Yeah.
But if they had ran to him and handed to him, he'd have blown the whistle like this.
And they had him blocked off. See, that's the other
Yes.
thing. He can't run as fast
couldn't
as
get
Dak
through.
Prescott. What he should have done if he was going, which I think is just stupid to keep the ball myself.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because you're not getting out of bounds.
I have no idea what the play
If you
was.
wanted to slide down quicker, maybe you can get 2 plays.
Try to get 2 plays.
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk. And
Penalties are everything.
It's a history with this guy.
14.
And he snookered him. See, he was never an analytics guy. And he got Jerry Jones and basically stayed at his house and convinced him. He basically lied to him and told him that he had gone to PFF and just scoured. Now he's an analytics man. And he kind of laughed about it when he's not an analytics man and he's not a capable. I'm starting to think now, when you had a guy like Rodgers, you needed to win more than one.
Yeah, that's the
He's
the
pretty
goal.
darn good.
He's the best.
Okay,
Brady.
so we're going to look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And in Frisco, now once again, here's Jimmy G. He's dinged up again with a. Now, I'm not a doctor, but if I said to you, hey, Al, one of our quarterbacks has a bad,
Whatever.
would you want it to be shoulder?
No, that's the worst thing you could have.
That's what I'm saying. So we got to deal
Same
with
as
it.
what you saw with Mayfield.
Yeah.
You know, he tried to pay.
He
for
thought
the
he'd be a
shoulder.
tough guy.
Uh-huh.
Probably cost himself $35-40 million because I think they're going to let him play out his option
think
and
so,
go.
too.
I don't think they're going to re-sign him. Let's talk about the game. That was the game that bothered me. Buffalo avenges 35 years of beatdowns at the hand of the Pats. They even put one "we got you" touchdown to the tackle as Kansas City. See, I don't like that.
Yeah, there's the better team. Yeah, they're the
No,
better
they're
team.
not
That's
even
all.
close.
Yeah, that's all.
No.
And people were giving New England a strong chance because of Coach Belichick. And I understand he's won a million games why they did. But he doesn't play. He doesn't play for them.
He was not out there. I
wasn't
looked.
out
He
there.
was on the
No.
side
Yeah.
with a hoodie.
And you would not know, if they didn't show his picture,
Yep.
you wouldn't know who was coaching that team that day.
No.
So Buffalo was just better. The other game I was completely wrong. I thought Philadelphia would get Tampa Bay, but you can't go against Brady. I mean,
It's 31-0.
He's just too much.
Listen to this. I'm on the way over here, and these guys on this Vegas channel. Guy goes, he goes, I don't think there's going to be many points in that Tampa Ram game. And the other guy goes, really, Bubba? He goes, what are you thinking about? He goes, it's Tom Brady. He goes, well, the guy got on the computer and he says, here are the last 4 games Brady played in the playoffs. 31,
Yeah, he
33,
he scores them all the time.
31, 30.
It's hard to go against Tampa Bay 'cause
said
he does what he does.
he's averaging 31 points per game.
Yeah, it's hard to go against
Now,
them.
go
And
ahead.
you figure Rams are going to score
Hey,
something too,
let
right?
me get this because these are 2 guys I love. I had a bad weekend. I mean, picking the games, I was great.
Right.
My props. What you want to do with my props is get them and fade them. No, you'll be rich. No, you'll be rich. Or just bet all unders and know you're winning more than you're losing. But anyhow, so I'm in there and I'm watching this and I'm like, I have 2 favorite guys that I really like. Hurts and the quarterback for Arizona. And after Sunday, I got to reevaluate.
Well, what happens is their style of play beats the run teams. And you're right, George. Teams that people can run the football, and Jackson's the same way, and he's the best. He's the best of them all.
He's my
There's
favorite.
nobody can run like he can.
No.
But when you get the best teams in the playoffs, and they got time to prepare,
No.
they don't let you run, and now what you have to use the
can't pass.
quarterback throwing skills.
He can't.
Hurts is below average. Murray's a little bit above average, and Jackson's below average.
Is
So,
Murray, now I don't want to say this because I've refuted it for years. Is his size a factor?
No, it isn't. No, not overall. It isn't because he can move so much.
Get an angle.
But in that one game,
okay.
In that one game, George, it could be because they keep him in. They lock him
Now,
in there.
let's talk about it. First, last year, no fans. I almost don't count that. So you had an extra team in. You had Pittsburgh. They go to Kansas City.
Just total mismatch.
It's what you got when you put seven against two.
No doubt about that. And if you
And
watch,
the other league was Tampa and Philly.
and I'll say this, and I truly believe this with all my heart. And I say it, I thought the Chargers were better. I think they were a better team. Pittsburgh got in there. I have no. They were Cleveland. I believe Cleveland. They lost twice to
I know
Pittsburgh.
they're better.
No, I believe personnel.
They should be looking in the mirror.
Personnel-wise,
Absolutely.
they have better players.
The Browns coach should be looking in the mirror right now
players.
and saying,
So I can name probably 3 or 4 teams.
Roethlisberger can't throw more than 5 yards.
He's over the hill. He's done.
The line was
Average at best. No,
Oh,
below
you're
average
being
at best.
kind.
No, below average at best.
Okay.
Yeah. Pitiful at best.
yeah,
Let's put it that.
and I'm like,
That was a mismatch.
I would have said to Stefanski, I said, Coach,
they should have been playing.
you shouldn't have lost
But
that.
the year before, they almost beat Kansas
But
City.
the guy I would have fired Monday morning, Chargers.
Yeah,
That day he said, well, those of us that understand.
he has the full team. He has the full team.
What doesn't he have?
Like if they went into the playoffs, they would have said, this team has a chance to win the Super Bowl. They couldn't even get into the playoffs.
What doesn't he have?
He has everything.
Great quarterback. That young kid's.
No, great
He and the
quarterback,
guy
great
you love
receivers,
at
great-
Buffalo.
great running back.
They're the future.
Yeah. Very good offensive line.
Yeah.
A defense that can rush the passer.
So he's going to show you how smart he is by turning down field goals and going for 2 down 9. And once again, you could bring in pie charts, you could bring in vectors, you could bring in angles. We
won't get on that one
never
either.
convince me down 9 you
Foul
go for 2.
on threes, you won't get us all that one. And if you're down 9,
Not to mention with 4 minutes, you're only getting the ball once
with
more.
4 minutes left in the game.
Now
That's
you
what
want
I'm
to tell
saying.
me third quarter? You
That's
got some
completely different.
stat that says the team that scores
not with
30.
4 minutes left in the game.
No. Let's talk about your favorite team. You got to give them credit to Bills. Now this game, going to Kansas City, it's going to be a big number. It's basically it looks like it's going toward Pick'em. It's 1.
I knew it would.
You love Buffalo.
I've said, I've been on.
Now I had them that Sunday night.
Anybody watch this show?
KC wasn't playing well.
Anybody watch this show knows that I think Buffalo is the best team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll continue to say that. And if somebody beats them, I'll step on the show and say, I don't know, they lost. But I think they're winning the Super Bowl. I said it a long time ago.
I can't. Here's what I'm saying. I get Tennessee. I'm stuck with them. I can't argue.
If there is a team though that does things to beat Buffalo, it is Tennessee.
Running the king.
Run the football,
Running the king.
Run it down your throat. Keep the ball away from Allen.
It does 2 things. It keeps the ball and it keeps them from scoring. I think that's keeps the ball from
Allen.
Buffalo.
Yeah. They're high tech offensively.
I would agree. But I'm serious now. There are 8, 9 coaching vacancies. I would add Green Bay. And you know what made me mad? The next morning, Stephen Jones, which first of all, he and his dad, they don't need a radio show. They have more than enough money, more than enough fame. They're a nuisance. And it's one of the reasons they haven't been in the final in like 30 years. But they asked him, and he goes, he's our coach. Well, first of all, that next morning is too soon.
Right.
I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be.
Right.
I'm saying you don't decide 20 hours later, well, I'd have fired.
Coach or not coach. Yeah.
And they did. Now, these other guys, the guy at the Raiders, the fact that they let the GM go,
he's gone
is he going to?
Yeah, that was a short sign, George.
That's what I
If you let the GM go, and if you're getting a new GM, he's going to want to hire his own coach.
Absolutely.
And I don't disagree with that.
It only makes sense.
But I know you were never a Mike Mayock guy anyway. No, when they hired him, you thought he was a know-it-all.
Well, no,
yes.
He would get on that show. I told you so. I hate that. Don't tell me after. I don't want to hear after.
Tony Romo.
I don't want to hear after. Oh, those guys are finally coming around to us on Romo. The guys at the barbershop. In the beginning, well, it's going to be something right to the left.
Here's his new thing. Here's his new thing. His new thing is that they're going to call that penalty on 71. Now, this is before.
Yeah.
But he's already seen the.
The guy.
I know. That little thing they have.
Absolutely.
So he knows who it's on.
Absolutely.
So he's acting like he's telling people what it is. He has to act like he's the smartest
or
guy.
the coach will jump up and Vital go, T.O., baby!
Yes.
T.O.!
Yes.
Well, you saw him jump up and call it, you dope.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Yeah, Romo does it all the time.
Yeah. It's just terrible. But let's talk about it. So do we like Brady against the Rams, or is the Rams
Rams are a better team.
remedy
Rams are a better
running
team.
the ball?
Rams are a better team.
Keep it from Brady.
Pure talent, I'm talking about. Pure
Okay.
talent, but they got Brady. It's hard. It's hard to go
A
against
guy
Brady.
sent me a cartoon today on the phone, and it had AFC playoff wins, 20-something, NFC playoff wins. Rodgers to Brady to. Rodgers been in the league 20 years. Brady's been in 2. And it just kind of, I said, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So-
They have Brady. Rams really have a nice team. If I knew the Rams were going to play to their top potential.
See, I'm afraid of him doing something stupid,
yeah,
like going for
Stanford can
2
do it.
the first
Oh,
time.
the coach him.
Yeah, the little soup boy. I never know what he's liable to do, because he wants to show you how smart he is, along with
These young
Shanahan.
coaches.
But let's talk about Shanahan the other day, because he put a guy in motion to run a quarterback sneak. Just address it, because there's no reason.
This is a gaming thing, by the way, because I bet Buffalo and San Francisco a long time ago. And San Francisco dominated Dallas the whole game, and they're going to end up losing this game because it's 4th and an inch.
Yeah,
And
they thought
everybody.
they made. Debo said he thought he made it. The play before.
Okay, but say he didn't.
Yeah.
Guys, why would you move anybody on when you need an inch? Doesn't he have to take 71 and run him across and put him on? And before he gets settled down, they snap the ball and they have motion.
Absolutely.
No one should be moving at all. It's a quarterback sneak. Please just snap the ball.
Now, we got a few minutes left. Let's address the 2 teams that were out. Green Bay, you have the gunslinger, but he also has 4 losses at home. He reminds me of Bill Cowher.
Well, Green Bay's the better team.
Okay.
No, I don't even. But
They got 2 guys back on the defense they didn't have to. I heard. I didn't know that.
But the team that gives them trouble is because we just talked about Tennessee. San Francisco's going to say, Rodgers, stay on the sideline over
Sluggo.
there. We're going to run this ball down your throat.
Yep.
And if you can't stop this run, we're going to keep running it. And that's why I'm a 49er guy.
Yeah.
Because they can
Yep.
run the football.
So
They run the football.
that's the remedy.
It is the remedy. Tennessee the same
remedy.
way. That's
Yeah.
why when you're playing a high-scoring team and they're standing on the sideline.
See, and what hurts if Tampa wins, if they were to get upset, it would make you go to Tampa. Now, the other league, I have Tennessee. I know.
I like Tennessee.
They're not by far the best team on paper, but they are. And
They beat everybody.
And I do trust the coach.
They beat everybody.
You
That's
trust
it.
the coach?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. All I can tell you is they beat everybody. When they played the good teams,
Yeah.
they beat them.
Oh, and without King Henry, I mean, the dude, I'm never people.
No, he's coming back.
He's going to be fresh. 10 weeks off, he's going to be running that ball. I'm getting out.
And you just can't play all run against them.
No.
They got Brown out there and Jones
Danny
out there.
Hill, Danny Hill.
Yeah, they got the guys out there.
No.
It's gonna come down to Tennessee's defense in that game though, because Cincinnati really has some serious.
Okay, now we're under 2
offensive
minutes.
guys.
The NBA, we knew this would happen. We thought he would blame Westbrook. Evidently, he's blaming the coach.
Coach is
LeBron
gone.
is at it again.
Coach is gone.
The coach is, he's got a life
And he liked it
expectancy
before. All of a sudden, he can't coach
of like
anymore.
having lettuce in your refrigerator. He's got about a week.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's
gone. And I said every year I pick the Lakers.
You don't this year?
The reason I can't is they don't have enough extraordinary guys to play with LeBron. Because LeBron, when he's playing great basketball.
Yes, he is. Yes,
But
he is.
they don't have enough to go with it. I'm gonna see if Anthony Davis comes back and healthy and is able to play before I write him off completely. But,
Yeah.
but I don't think they can do it this year.
Yeah, complimentary. The year they won in the isolated dome, no
played good.
visitors, stay in your room.
The complimentary guys
They
played
had
really good.
complimentary guys that could play D and shoot
Yeah, they
set
did.
shots.
Uh-huh.
They've lost them,
lost
and I
that.
think it was a big mistake.
Yeah.
We got about 30 seconds. When you look at, they always say the college has add teams. The pros add them, but no one's complaining. What's something about NFL? I think they could play out in the pasture, and people would say, "Hey, there's a game out there," and they would find it.
DraftKings has won out over everybody.
Is that what the
all
gambling
I
dude?
see is every commercial. DraftKings.
No. You heard it here. Thanks again for watching Bottom Line Sports Talk. See you next week.